times we drop that substations idea also. But usually we get the locations, not only the exact location, but nearby locations usually found out, and we create land size of 1 acre for the rural area and 0.3 acre in the urban area. But nowadays we are facing so many troubles. That's why we have a specially designed area like CESC, that 30 meter by 30 meter land size. We are presently designing our substation, even compromising little bit of spread out type of switchyard and spread out type of control room. Instead of single story control room, we usually build a 2-story or 3-story control room to accommodate all the substation in the little bit of land we have already uh, collected. So now the usually as per our standard, the land size should be the 1 acre in rural areas and 0.3 acre in the urban areas. Although I have told you that now in Calcutta and surrounding places, now we are designing in 30 by 30 meter land. So once we get the land and we assure about the 60% loading of the entire electrical load should be coming up through that substation. Once the substation is charged, so we usually concentrate on the development of the land. The land development is usually done by the land filling. In case we find it is low land, and if it is being there huge water logging, or maybe that can happen in the rainy season. So what we do usually, we do the land filling in proper manner. So next, what we do, the soil testing of the land is being done. So it is done in definite manner, that in the total area of the land, 3 points are chosen of 10 meters apart in suitable positions, and 10 to 15 meters boring is done to collect the soil sample. And this soil sample is being tested in the laboratory, and depending upon the load bearing capacity of the soil, the structural design is being devised and prepared by our planning and design department. And it is the standard procedure for all across the country. If you see all the electrical utilities who are operating right now in this country, so they are following this particular procedure pan India basis. And based on the soil bearing capacity of the soil, we usually build the structural and layout design of the control room building. That may be single story, that may be double story. I have said earlier, foundation design and everything is being discussed. So as because it is not the civil portion of the construction webinar, so I don't want to go into detail of this. Just to know you all how the construction will be done, and little bit of civil part we have to come through. That's why I just want to put it there. Next, I come the electrical design. Next comes the electrical design, and the civil design and the electrical design of the substation usually goes parallelly, because it is our target that usually once we decide to construct a substation or bring a substation in certain areas, so the way it is conceptualized, the moment we have decided to bring the substations and the land has been procured or collected, so we target usually that within 1 year to 1.5 years, the substation should be in place and the load should be catered through that substation. So to reach that goal, what we do, we parallelly construct the civil part as well as the electrical part. So it's not the serial part, it is the parallel portion of the activities. Now the electrical design, in case of electrical design, if we see, the determination of the capacity of the substation is the most important part. Usually it is being done at the initial stage of the conceptualization of the building of the substations. And usually we use 3.15 MVA, 6.3 MVA and 10 MVA transformers, power transformers, to build up the capacity of the substation. In the earlier stage, in the year of 1990s or the era of early 2020, 2000 years, in that particular 10 to 20 years back, we usually do maybe 3.15. We usually use those power transformers because the load has not so drastically, I think, change with the passage of time. But nowadays we see within 1 to 2 years of building of a transformer, maybe 3 years for construction of a substation, the 80 to 90% of the load has been saturated in the substation. Then again we have to go for the enhancement of the capacity or find out a separate land for building another substation. So in that case, we ruled out the 3.1 MVA transformer right now. We usually go through the 6.3 MVA or 10 MVA. So in that case, it's a combination. Sometimes we usually do 2 into 6.3 MVA. It is a standard combination for the rural part, and 2 into 10 MVA for the standard combinations for the urban part. Or sometimes we can do some mix and match. Maybe 2 into 6.3 MVA plus 1.1 into 10 MVA, or maybe 2 into 10 MVA plus 1 into 6.3 MVA. Depending upon the requirement, we usually do that. Then the design of the 30 kV source, we usually do that from which grid substation we usually draw the power of 30 kV source to the substations, and we determine the route length. That is the most vulnerable and most important part, because we usually experience that the route length we usually choose initially, and because of many ROW problem, right of way problem, we could not draw the line in that particular way. So again, we have to change our route length. But more or less, we emphasize on the factor that we don't compromise the route length in such a way that voltage regulations can be deviated too much. So in that case, the route length has been designed, and the size of the conductor. Usually we use the DOG conductor, the 100 square mm ACSR conductor, which have capacity of maximum of 295 ampere of current carrying capacity. So we feel that that is suffice for if we go for a 30 MVA, a maximum 30 MVA of substation capacity. So that is suffice for us. So we usually do the DOG conductor. We choose DOG conductor size for 100 square mm ACSR, and of course the protection system. Usually in 30 kV systems, the 30 kV and 11 kV, all the system right now we are providing the protection system of overcurrent and not fault, 2 overcurrent and 1 not fault. That scheme is usually standard, and we usually design that thing, and that is standard. We follow that standard protection system right now. And then we come to the design of the substation switchyard and bus bar. Based on the land size and electrical layout of the switchyard, we usually prepare. Previously, we used to box type substations, but it is not aesthetically good. That's why we again go to the spread out type substations. But again, due to the land crisis and the size of the land is going smaller and smaller day by day, that's why we are making some combination of both. And then we design the protection system of the PTR. So based on the capacity of the PTR, we usually the protection system we choose. In 3.15 kVA, we usually use fuse system. The fuse is a very good protective system. I think most reliable protection system in the entire world still we consider is the fuse unit with IDMT characteristics. The inverse definite minimum time characteristics. The more the current will be, the rate of increase of the current will be more, the fuse will be melting. So melting point of the fuse will be reached so promptly, and fuse will be cut off. So this IDMT characteristics we use in the fuse, and we use as a protection system. Otherwise, as I said earlier, overcurrent and not fault, these two particular protection we usually use, and the Buchholz protection for gas. I think development of the gas in the inner core, as well as the winding and oil temperature, to protect all these particular parameters, usually Buchholz relay and 3.15 MVA of transformers. But in case of 6.3 transformer, definitely we introduce another I think protection system that is called restricted arc fault, and oil temperature and room temperature usually give the protection. In case of 3.15, we don't give the tripping protection of oil temperature and oil temperature, but in case of 6.3 MVA, obviously we do that, and obviously Buchholz relay is there. In 10 MVA transformer, we usually another separate protection we usually do, that is a differential protection, and all the protection system, little bit of something we will discuss today itself, so that you can come to know that what sort of protection we usually do and how we do that. So these are basically the protection system we usually design, and these are all standard. So, and the zone of this protection system is also standard. So these are all for the protection. And then we come for the earthing system. And I design for the earthing system based on the capacity of the substation, soil resistivity, and the short circuit MVA. What is the fault level actually, the short circuit MVA, and that we usually design the earthing system. And that we'll also discuss later on. A little bit of earthing system, how we can design it, you can obviously come to know. And then we go for the design the station service transformer. It is usually 100 kVA in nature, and it is 33 by 415 volt transformer. It is placed in the switcher initially, and it provides AC source to the control room, lighting system of the substation, water pump, everything, and design of AC distribution box and the DC distribution box and battery and the battery charger. It is very important because we consider it as the heart of this substations. AC distribution box, basically 3-phase power is given to station service transformer to ACDB, and it distributes the power to all possible corners of the substations where 3-phase and single-phase power supply is needed. And then the DC distribution box usually terminates DC power. We have the battery of 30 volt. Usually we design our substation is designed for 30 volt battery charger, 15 sets of battery, each cell consists of 2 volt we usually choose, and this 30 volt battery set, and there is a charger, trickle charging and fast charging, both are available, and we usually use right now the 35 ampere battery charger. Initially we did is 16 ampere, but now we are using it as a 35 ampere battery charger, trickle charging and fast charging. And this 30 volt battery set is being given all the trip circuits and other part of the DC source through the DCDB, DC distribution box. So these are the basic fundamental design we usually do and come in place in the substations. And then we do the design of 11 kV outgoing feeders. So how many outgoing feeders we usually choose, and the scheme of the outgoing feeders, and what are the incoming, what will be the incoming, how many incoming switch gear will be there, and depending on the outgoing feeder, we usually choose a bus coupler also. And that's we usually do depending upon the demography where the 11 kV power system would be catered, and how the distribution transformer 11 by 433 volt transformers would be placed. Right now we are not using 433 volt transformer, we are using 415 volt transformer in secondary side. So 11 by 415 volt transformers we usually do in 11 kV feeder. And you must be experienced in different areas of WBC DCL network, distribution network. You see the under 11 kV line there are pole mounted substation we call, and there are different capacities of transformers like 100 kVA, like 60